Good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here. My name is Coach Jay, and also I am a staff on the iLeague Global team. Um, the Monday Vision is one of those opportunities that we rarely have. So, but for the people that have been here before, they already know what this session is about. But briefly, with what we are going to present today, the topic I'm going to be talking about today, I think it will throw more light on the effects of iLeague Global on the leadership and business of basically everybody that is around the world. So I'm going to share my screen now. So in a second. Okay. Okay. So today on the iLeague Global Monday Vision, we're going to be talking about the law of navigation. If you are a business owner or if you are an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what level of operation you are in, it is important that you have a way to pick up the sorry, 1 second, please. It's important that you have a way to always pick up your knowledge, to always learn new things, to always learn how businesses, how families are changing, how businesses are changing, how the economy is changing. It is important that you give yourself, get a platform for yourself, like what iLeague Global is doing, where you constantly learn and evolve with the new changing economy and how the world is changing. And one of the ways we do it is using the Monday Vision. On today's topic, we'll be talking about the law of navigation. And the law of navigation is like the word navigation is just how to find your way. It doesn't matter if it's in the business field, it doesn't matter if it's in your relationship, it doesn't matter if it's in your family, it doesn't matter where it is. It is important that you understand the law of navigation. Anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. All right, this is a quote from John C. Maxwell. For those of us that have been here before, we always talk about John C. Maxwell because he's one of the icons when you talk about leadership in business and even in family. John C. Maxwell, it's one of those people that have taken leadership to the next level. And the principles that he comes up with and are principles that have outstayed time. It is something that they've been doing over the years and it has been yielding amazing results. And one of the principles is the law of leadership, the law of navigation. One of the principles in his book, the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, is the law of navigation. Okay, so let's dive into what the law of navigation is and how it affects every one of us. So what is the law of navigation and what does it mean for us? Like I said before, the law of navigation is the principles that we have set out for ourselves to carry us through the different stages of success that we need in every aspect of our life. No matter what you are doing right now, no matter what you are involved in. Of course, I believe that everybody here is involved in something. And even if you're too young to have a business of your own, you have a plan for that. And if you are old enough to have a business of your own, you must have gone through it enough to take advantage of what we're about to talk about today. So the law of navigation is every single plan that we put in place to help us achieve the goal that we have set out, the main goal that we have set out. In the book 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the writer John C. Maxwell made mention of two explorers. One of them was Scott. Scott was a British man, and the other person was Amandus. So here's the thing: the two people, these are two people that have set out to achieve the same goal. They were explorers. And what explorers do is these are people that travel around the world to explore new things. And then the first to bring it out maybe can attach their name to it. So sometimes you hear that so and so person found this, so and so. So that is their business. That is what they do as business. Whatever we talk about today, I'm going to try to relate it to what we are doing in our own life. So their own business, I don't know what your business is. I don't know who you talk to. I don't know who you get advice from. I don't know what kind of family you are in. I don't know what kind of business relationship that you are in, but this is their own business. So they set out, and Scott, the British guy, was he already had a notion of traveling. He understands traveling. He understands exploring the world. So he made his brief plan, get things that, when you want to travel, you make your plan, you get a bunch of stuffs together, you get your clothing, depending on where you want to go. So he got his ship ready. There were explorers that travel through the sea. So he got his ship ready, got his crew ready, got people that would help carry load, got everything together, and he was ready for his trip. But the other guy among this, he took his time. He didn't jump into that preparation without doing his own investigation. So the first thing he did was go to people that have done this trip before, took his time to understand what it takes to actually be successful, not just to travel, not just what it takes to travel, but some of the unforeseen circumstances that might occur through his way. Most of us, when we hear of business, maybe somebody calls us and tells us, oh, there's so and so business that is around the corner. We jump into it without actually understanding the law of being able to navigate through that business that we're going into, and seeing, even being able to predict how long it's going to take us to actually achieve what we achieve. So the person tells you that, oh, I achieved this in 2 days, and without understanding how to navigate yourself through to get the same result, you jump into that business, or you jump into that relationship without understanding what you are doing. So what happens is that you get hit along the way. Why? Because there was no formal preparation. So this other guy, Amendis, the guy from Norway, he took his time, met the older people that have done this before, spoke with them. They gave him tips and advice. He sat down, did his own assignment, understood what he needed. He didn't just make plans for the trip. He made plans for in case anything happens along the way. He got so far that he was able to have different stops where he placed food stock in case their ship gets to a point and maybe maybe the weather was too much. Because sometimes for people that travel on ship, sometimes the weather the storm can be much, and then they throw out some of their loads. Sometimes food stuff can go with that too, and you know what it means to travel from one end of the world to the other without having proper food stock. No matter what, even if you don't want to have anything, make sure you have food with you. So planning is what we're talking about, being able to navigate. So he made those plans, puts things in the road in case he actually gets somewhere that he got stuck. He will be able to have an option to help him. So when the journey started, these two people started the same journey, and the first person, Mr. Scott, was able to get, because they had to stop. They were going to stop on the North Pole, and then they were going to stop on the South Pole. So Mr. Scott, he made formal preparation also, but he didn't, pay attention to detail. He didn't actually read between the lines to see what is going to take for him to be the first to reach that point. So he was able to get to the, maybe by whatever luck happened to him. Like you could start a business with someone and you notice that this person is just getting everything, and you are still planning, putting things together, being patient, paying attention to what is going to take. Sometimes you don't know that the person that you feel have started before you did not make all those plans. So at some point they will get stuck. But when you get to that point where you get stuck, you would pass the person because of proper planning, because you were able to understand the way of navigating yourself from where you started to where you are going to. So Scott got stuck and he couldn't move from the South Pole because his food got finished. The weather was tougher than he expected. Some of his men were injured and there was no medicine on the ship because the medicine they had was not enough. What he predicted was going to happen was not. But this other guy had more than enough. And because of that, Even when they got to the South Pole, to the North Pole, heading to the South Pole, he didn't stop. He had so many things working for him that it was recorded that the only thing that he could not cover up for was one of his men that lost his tooth. So apart from that, everything was okay. But Mr. Scott was still struggling on the road because, what he thought, oh, 5 men, don't worry, we're just going to give them one, one, one. Whatever he predicted did not work. So it is important for us to actually look at how things have been done in the past before we jump into it. So that way we are not jumping into things without knowing what it is going to take to achieve the goals. And finding out on the road is going to cause us more damage than good. So the difference in leadership. Now, Mr. Amundsen is carefully charted his course. Meanwhile, Mr. Scott violated the law of navigation. So what does this mean? See, Mr. Amundsen, the guy from Norway, because he did his homework, because he took his time, because he was taking his time, of course, Mr. Scott was able to get to the first stop before him. But was he able to advance? No, because he didn't have enough, because he didn't have enough preparation. He didn't have the wiser people tell him what to do and how to achieve the goal. So he now was the one experiencing the suffering. So now he's going to be the experienced one. So when next somebody else wants to go, he's going to be a lesson the person will learn from. You don't want to be a lesson that people will learn from. You want to be the person that achieved the goal and people are learning from your goals. It is very important. So it is very important that no matter what you want to do, no matter what business you want to go into, no matter what kind of relationship you want to build, take your time to talk to the people that have gone before you. No matter what kind of achievement you have placed for yourself, even if it's not something somebody is bringing you into, if it's something you are placing for yourself, it is important to look back and see people that have done this thing or something close to what you have done. They will give you better advice that will better prepare you for rainy days, for times when there are not all situations can be solved with money. There are some things you can solve just because somebody told you go left when you wanted to go right. So it is important that we take our time, chart a course for where we want to go to. Charting a course, for those of us that may not understand, is taking your time to investigate what it is going to take. So that being said, navigators see the trip ahead. Experience is the best teacher. Now, there is something that happens, especially here in Africa, where a lot of people think that since they say experience is the best teacher, so you have to experience something before you become successful in it. And that is not true, because the years that it is going to take you to experience that thing, to actually become successful in it, you will be there and you will grow old. And then, wherever you stop, you will still see that you have not achieved the goal. So the best thing is to have a mentorship. The best thing is to have a place you go to learn. That is why when I started this session, I talked about the importance of having a medium of learning, a medium of improvement, not just anyhow learning, but practical learning things that you can actually practicalize. I like what Ali Global is doing with their School of Business and the School of Coaching, because the School of Business is a carefully crafted program that it's not just theories, it is things that the master coach Raphael Gini did himself. And this man is a billionaire, not just in an economy like what we have in Africa, but in the US. So for him, an African man, to be able to do that, everything that he did step by step and every knowledge that he has gathered is the kind of experience that if you learn from and apply in what you are applying his 40 years or 50 years of experience into your today's business, of course you're going to get that kind of result. Do you understand? But not having the mentorship, not having that right experience, or wanting to experience it by yourself, is the thing that slows us down the most from achieving the goals that we're targeting. So it is important that we pay attention to that. The great consequence. There is an inevitable damage when you don't obey the law of navigation. So it is important for us to know that sometimes when you talk about consequence, it is important that you take it serious. It doesn't matter what you're doing, regardless of if it's in your family, if it's in your relationship, if it's in your business, it is important that you pay attention to the law of navigation through that particular thing so that you don't face the consequence, because some of these consequences can be so great that you will not be able to recover from it. There are some things that can happen to your business and you will not be able to recover from it. And this might be a business you spent millions of years building, and then you just make a mistake and everything just comes to crumble. It doesn't matter the kind of effort you have put in that business. If you don't have the proper guidance to help you succeed in it, nothing will make you. It doesn't matter the kind of effort you have put in that relationship, in that family. If you don't have the experience to be able to hold a family or to be able to, sustain a particular relationship you're building with your friend, with your family, with whoever, you would actually make mistakes that can be so costly that you might not be able to recover. So that is another important aspect of obeying the law of navigation. So finally, charting the course with a navigation strategy. Because it is one thing to point out the problem, it's another thing to talk about the solution. I'm trying my best to run as fast as we can, but I think this is the last slide. So let's talk about the solution. Some things, practical steps that you can actually take, and I hope you will take note of some of them. So predetermine, the first one is predetermine a course of action. So of course, predetermine means you have to take your time to think about what you think is going to take you to achieve that goal that you have set out for yourself. Think about what is going to take you to reach that height that you think you're going to reach in 5 days, 3 days, because it's not about the amount of days you have placed, it's about what it will take you to get there. So it is important that you know, and this is also going to remind you of the fact that you don't know everything and give you a reason to be able to reach out or learn from places that actually have keys to help you succeed. Then lay out your goals clearly for yourself. That's the number 2 thing. You have to make sure that you understand clearly what you are going to do. I always advise people around me to write down their goals. Always write down your goals. But of course, there are people that want to keep it off hard. There's nothing wrong with keeping it off hard, but there is always this vibe that comes with writing down what you want to achieve. Because when you write it down, you keep looking at it. You always write it down where you can actually see it clearly, not writing it where in a hidden place. Keep it in front of you at all time. What happens is that it puts it in your mind so that an idea that comes about it will not pass you by. Sometimes we get ideas on how to succeed in our businesses, in our plans, right in front of us, and we don't know about it. The reason is because that plan is not in our head at that time. Because you can be walking on the road, but because you are conscious of where you are going to, what you want to achieve, if you see an opportunity that will get you there faster, you can take it. And that is why it's important to keep your goals in front of you. Adjust your priority. That is the third one. See, priorities is very important. It is one of the things that a lot of people overlook. Prioritizing things for your destination, wherever you are going to, is basically the first thing that makes anybody successful, because it doesn't matter how good you are. If you are not able to keep up with time, if you are not able to know what to do, step 1, step 2, step 3, and stick to them, you will always be distracted. That is another thing. So notify key personnel. In almost everything that we do, we need people. We cannot hide from it, especially with the way things have advanced right now. You can't do things in small scales anymore and hope to excel. You have to do things in a larger scale. So it is important that we link ourselves up with very important people that will help us achieve the goals. Most of these people are around us. They don't have to be those big people you think. Sometimes you see them, they are around you, but because you know the importance of involving people in what you are doing, you might not take advantage of their presence. And before you know it, you are struggling. And after like 10 years, somebody will now tell you, you for tell me now, I would have helped you. It's important that we pay attention to our environment to see the important people. Some people, these people, most of the people that can give you value, they don't talk. They are usually quiet. You might not even know, it might even be your own brother or your sister, or somebody that you even talk to every day. So it is important that you find the people that are key personnel to help you achieve your goal. The another one is head into action. Action, action, action. Most of us waste too much time talking. You talk about this, talk about that, talk about your problems, talk about what is holding you back. But if you keep acting, you will notice that you will achieve more than you complain. So that is important. Expect problems. Some of us go into because you feel like you have it all figured out, or you've done it before, or for whatever reason that is keeping you confident. See, confidence sometimes can be a limitation. So it is important to know when to be overconfident and when to be just confident. So confidence is very important in everything, but it is also important not to be overconfident. So you know to be careful. So what happens is that because you know you are confident, but you don't want to be too confident. So what you do is you put, just like what Mr. Amundsen did, he stocked food along the journey. So he has called his friends, people that live along the road that he's going to pass, to put help him put, and then he pays them by all means, of course, but they have already made provision. So by the time he's getting there, he's getting medicine, he's getting food stuff, which he knows that for that long journey, he might not be able to have everything he needs, but because he has already planned ahead. So in your business, in your whatever it is you're doing, you have to know the importance of expecting problem. That way you can be able to put things on ground. And then I will always advise you once again to write. Do not that's what a lot of people do. You have a goal you want to achieve, and then you're making all the plans in your head. You're not putting it down somewhere that you can physically see what you're trying to achieve. Then another one is always point out the success. In everything we do, we have problem. I'm going to try and rush as fast as I can. In everything we do, we have problem. It doesn't matter what you are doing. So don't always look at the negative side, because what happens is that it can sometimes be overwhelming. And especially if you don't have a mentor, if you are new and you feel confident in yourself that don't worry, I'll keep doing it till I succeed. Don't worry, something that you're supposed to succeed in 5 days, you succeed in 10 years. Why? Because you want to do it on your own. So always point to success as you're facing trouble. Always point to success. Always remember the good that you have achieved, even if it's the fact that you actually took that step. So those success will motivate you to keep doing. Another very important exercise I would advise everybody, especially all of us that are here, is always look at the people that have done this thing before you and succeeded. Their stories, if you sit down on their stories for 1 hour every day, 10 minutes every day, in fact, what it does is it motivates you and gives you a clear goal of what you want to achieve. And the lastly is daily review of your planning, right? So daily review is one of the things that you can do in just 5 minutes, 3 minutes. It doesn't take long, especially if you are a type of person that actually have everything you want to achieve written down. So reviewing it every day, it tells you where you are lacking, what you have achieved, and how far you need to go. Sometimes you can get bored, but it's something that you must stick to. This exercise of reviewing your plan every day is one of the reasons why your attention will not be distracted. Even if somebody is distracting you, but because you have that daily plan of, oh, I have to check my goal, this is what I want to achieve, and I have to check it every day. What it does is, even if somebody else is distracting you, that 1 second that you went back to that place, you kept those things written down. It reminds you of what you're doing. And before you know it, your concentration will be there and your speed will be there as well. So I think that's all we have for today. I want to say thank you to everybody that took part in the Monday Vision today. It was an amazing meeting with you guys, and I want you to know that I can answer your question. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Thank you very much.